Welcome to a new XDefiant video. This one I wanted to make because despite the stagnant state of the game, I find myself still enjoying it. But one thing I've noticed is people really like to egg on the game, calling the game trash, or even saying the game's dead. And more recently, my feed being content creators saying they're dropping XDefiant due to lack of content, which is understandable. But from a reality thing, the game is just fine. With them planning a year 2 in content, but also bear with me now, we have a roadmap of what to expect. So here it is on screen. So as you're looking through this, my advice, take a break from the game if you don't like it. No one's forcing you to play this game. It didn't cost you any money unless you bought skins. But overall, if season 2 isn't your thing, you can always just shelf the game for now and then come back when whatever features like the prestige system, or better yet, I'm pretty sure the private matches is coming mid-season. So fingers crossed. I'm still looking at my notes, and just to guess, it's either next week or the week after. Anything past that, and I don't know, they're gonna hurt my feelings because it's no longer considered a mid-season patch. But there's nothing wrong with taking a break from XDefiant if the game's not to your liking. Again, the developers are hard at work, but keep in mind they're working with Ubisoft resources, so it's not something like Call of Duty with their 3,000 devs, infinite money, and then being backed by Activision and Microsoft. It's not looking good on Ubisoft's end, so more than likely think of it like I've said it multiple times, them building a treehouse out of tools they bought at a pawn shop or a yard sale. And the reason for this break is because I do have a little story, and this is basically if you force yourself to play XDefiant and you end up not liking it, but you're forcing yourself to play, you're gonna end up like my friend who was currently playing Black Ops 6. He was streaming it, and yeah, he was constantly getting angry. He wasn't popping off, or when he did, he would just complain about the maps. He would complain that everyone was camping. Like, he was just like playing the game out of pure hatred at that point. And me, just being in his chat, just decided, hey, if you want to try other games to give yourself a break from this, try XDefiant or play the finals. I was just suggesting some free-to-play shooters that came to mind. I was gonna suggest Apex, but I don't even play that game, so I wasn't gonna suggest something I don't even play. But when I suggested these games, you know what he pretty much just told me? He pretty much, with the most straightest voice I've heard, and I don't mean this in like a bad way. I just mean like he straight up told me this: Black Ops 6 sucks, but those other games are worse. I never played them, but I know they're not good. And that's been in my head for a while, and I've been wanting to make it into a video, but nothing I would do would warrant it being its own video. So I figured I'd just sneak that in here. But yeah, people like that are a lost cause. I probably won't ever suggest XDefiant to him again because he did kind of go 2-3 years playing Black Ops 4, and with Black Ops 6 out, he pretty much cannot go back to that game because with every year that passes, there's less and less people on the servers for Black Ops 4. So for him, if Black Ops 6 isn't it, I don't know what he's gonna do, to be honest. It's more or less he has to make Black Ops 6 work because he's such a Call of Duty fan that if this game bombs, then he is not gonna. There's nothing for him. But let's go ahead and answer the big question, basically the thumbnail. Which, unless you watched early, then give me a sec. I'll probably change it. But is XDefiant doing fine? Yes, it's an arena shooter, and yes, the weapon grind is slow and missing key features, but overall the game's solid. If the game didn't stand a chance, why are the devs working so hard to improve the game? Better yet, when I posted a video on Reddit sharing my joy with the netcode, this was one of the comments. Black Ops 6 was so bad it drove me back to XDefiant. COD is free on Game Pass and is still not worth playing. So to wrap things up, XDefiant has a future, it just needs time to get to that point. Custom matches, for example, are still coming in Season 2. I've actually been in the XDefiant Discord, and there has been a dev, I believe, that's been in there that's confirmed that it's still coming. That they didn't delay it to Season 3 or anything. We're getting a beta version of custom matches in Season 2, and it's pretty much going to get fleshed out afterwards. So more than likely Season 3 and 4 is going to be the more refined version, but we are still getting custom matches in Season 2. But yeah, if I had to just jot this down, if you think the game's boring or dead, just take a break from the game, come back in season 3 or 4. Like I said, it's just one of those. Think of it like a game that just came out and it has a bad season. Like, for example, if anyone's ever played the original Fortnite, when the battle royale first popped off, do you remember the battle pass and the skins that we used to get in seasons 1 and 2? They were like the most basic looking skins. I think the season 1 was just a bunch of recolors, and then season 2 was mostly night themed or something like that. And it wasn't until seasons 3 and 4 and onwards where they started kind of going a little extra on the skins themselves. And back then, because of how fun the game was, which again, the key word here being fun, what's it called? A lot of people didn't really pay much attention to the bugs and glitches that were happening at the time. And like I said, they gave Epic plenty of time to refine the battle royale formula, and look where the game's at right now. That's kind of where we have to be right now. There is no point in saying, yeah, because Black Ops 6 is out, it's dead, because I don't know what is it with Activision. It's more Activision than anything. That's why I don't want to, like, the same reason people say, oh, what's it called, XDefiant's dead because of Ubisoft, when they kind of like just separate as if the devs don't exist anymore is what I'm getting at. Like, every time the game does good, people just shrug it off. If the game does bad, oh, it's because of Ubisoft. Ubisoft did this, and it's just like, eventually you just gotta kind of keep them separate. The XDefiant team are the ones working hard making this game good, and Ubisoft is just I'm guessing just a publisher that's just giving them the go of just, yeah, make a shooter, use our franchises, but just make sure you plug in the Ubisoft launcher. But yeah, that about does it for this video. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you feel like this game's boring, stale, dead, or anything, or if it's dead to you, and there's like, if you've done this for almost since the preseason, and if you've been just kind of hopping into it and saying, yeah, this game's dead, or if you're one of the many that are saying you can't find any matches, again, just try when season 3 or 4 comes, or better yet, just wait until the game actually gets some decent advertisement, because that's one thing I've noticed is, and I'm not gonna say these games names, just let me know if you've seen any of them in your out and about on YouTube, Twitter, anything like that. When I describe these games, tell me if you've seen any ads for them. Actually, I don't even think a good description. Just go to Twitch right now, which I know it's a bad example, and I'll say why in a little bit. But go on Twitch and look at the top 10 and tell me if at any point out and about, like TV, you're watching movies, because a lot of streaming sites are incorporating ads, or if you've been scrolling on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that. How many ads of these have you seen in a day, and just try to count them down, because that's usually the way to go with games. Is if enough ads plays, sooner or later someone's going to be like, oh, this game keeps popping up for me, I'm going to give it a try. Or some people will be like, oh, wait, the newest game for this year came out, I should probably see, and then through word of mouth, people are going to be like, yeah, this game's actually pretty fun. So ads plus word of mouth basically is what usually gets someone to try out a game. Compare that to XDefiant, where it's mostly just been word of mouth and people just pretty much saying, again, the game's dead. But ad wise, I have only seen ads for it based off Facebook and what's the other one? Twitter. That's it. Just those two sites. I've been hoping and trying to get them to, because there are other sites that might be beneficial to them. One of them being Threads, which has like a pretty strong gamer community that I've been noticing. And I've seen too, because they have an Instagram thing and Threads is tied to that, there's 20,000, basically the equivalent of the player base that we're currently dealing with. Yeah, on Threads, there is 20,000 people following the XDefiant account, and it's just been untouched. There's like, the least they could do is just give like a little, the sync post that they make for the Facebook and Twitter page, they could do for Threads as well, but they're not. So, that's 20,000 people that are not even knowing what's going on with the game. And the funny thing is, from me posting a few times of some clips that I've made on Threads, I started getting other smaller content creators also like hyping up this game as well. But then, you know, only to immediately get bombarded by people playing Black Ops 6. But yeah, that's the thing too, is the game just has like no existence whatsoever. It exists, but no one knows like that it exists, if that makes sense. It's more or less just the game's there and that's it. It's just, oh yeah, it's that one game. But there's no ads, there's lack of word of mouth, and there's like nothing to basically get people to even check out the game. So that's another thing too. I'm pretty sure once the dev team fixes the issues and they start pumping out ads and everything, then this game will probably start kicking off with its player base, because that's where the player base mostly is. They either took a break from the game, or they're just pretty much just, you know, playing something else. Or in some situations where I've noticed, some people will actually be playing or they basically forgot XDefiant exists. The last time they played it was the preseason, and that was because they had so many content creators hyping it up, and then nothing. Because I remember I actually did see, I think it was Merc Music, Vanos, and some other big channels that were basically covering XDefiant, but it was only during the preseason, and it was more or less just a paid ad. But I believe that's enough rambling out of me. Again, the game's doing just fine. Just give the devs some time to cook, and hopefully they get back on track, basically, is what I'm going to be saying for this. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and tell me if anything about XDefiant that you're currently having issues with, or if any, you know, comments. I do read them, but unless it's something like dead game or people still play this, I just ignore them, because I just treat them like as if they're trolls or something. You know, you can only say the same thing so many times before it's just like, yeah, they're just saying the same thing, meh. Anyways, follow my socials. All that will be in the description. And until next time, I'll see you later, everyone.